The Ford stock has had some really bad news and negative price action, so will the stock ever recover or should you move on? Sit tight as we answer that by going through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. First up, Wall Street analysts have predicted that Ford can face a 50% profit slump next year. According to UBS Group analysts, weak demands for vehicles has caused excess supply, which would result in lesser sales, of course, and lesser earnings. Talking about the price action, Ford stock has fallen below its 5-year-old price and people are blaming Jim Farley for it. Whether it's closing its doors to the Indian markets or the Brazilian market, the company is constantly losing market share under his leadership. Apart from this, their EV sales have grown by over 200% in the United States, hitting a 3x year-on-year growth for September sales. The F-150 remained a bestseller throughout, and the company is now going to raise prices for the vehicle by $5,000. In our opinion, Ford still has a lot more problems to solve if it wants to reclaim its position. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-week chart for Ford, which is unusual, but first we'll analyze this, then the 1-day chart, then we'll get into the 5-minute chart to end off our analysis. But right off the bat, we can see that we're making a cup and handle pattern over here, right? We made our cup over here, and now we're kind of making our handle, right? So this would indicate a fall soon. If we look at what exactly happened over here, we can see that we got a pin bar candle on the 15th August week over here, which indicated strong selling pressure and weak buying support. After this, of course, we got another indecision candle over here. So these were pretty good times to short the stock, and you could have easily made like what? Let me get this, measuring scale real quick. You could have easily gotten between like 20 to 25% returns over here with a small stop loss and a good, risk to reward ratio. With that, if we look at the long-term trend, we can see that we kind of made our top over here in 2022 in January. So that was around $26, right? Of course, after that, we got this engulfing candle, which indicated a reversal, and then we got a steep bear run. We did get our bottom over here at $10.63. Right now, we're trading at $11.36, which is just slightly above our bottom over here. But now I believe that the stock probably won't go that low, right? In my opinion, the stock should probably continue to go down for a few more days, come somewhere into the $10 range. Of course, the $10 support is pretty strong. And once we hit this support, we should kind of rebound. But considering all of the problems that are coming the company's way, I don't really believe that the stock is a good buy at the moment, in my opinion, of course. But to analyze it in more detail, let's get into the 1-day chart. As you guys can see right here, we're now in the 1-day chart for Ford, and right off the bat, we can see that we're making a similar pattern to the 1-week chart on the 1-day chart. So we already made our cup over here, and now we are on our way to make our handle and fall down even further, right? So all of these moves kind of indicate that the stock is headed for a bear run. Of course, over here we saw some indecision in the market, right? It was pretty much an insider candle with no body at all and a pretty big wick in general. We can see that we got a major gap up, so this could have been the reason behind this stabilization, or rather inflation and deflation. As you guys can see, I already told you in my previous analysis around October beginning that the stock is definitely not a good buy at the moment, right? So if we talk about some support and resistance levels, we can clearly see that we got resisted over here at 12.7. Then over here was a pretty strong resistance as well around $12.30. Of course, over here we got a pretty strong support around $12, right? Then we got a pretty strong resistance around $11.5. Right below that, of course, $11 and $10 are the next, psychological support and resistance levels. But the real question is, will the stock rebound? Well, as I already told you, in my opinion, it would probably continue to fall below the $10, or rather just the $10 to $11 range in the October month, right? So until the earnings report comes out, the stock probably won't, stop falling. If we talk about some estimates for the earnings report, analysts are expecting, kind of pretty low, right? So as we already discussed in our previous video, the Ford deliveries were kind of disappointing. And of course, that kind of indicates that we'll get a negative earnings report as well. So we might fall down even on that day, but that would be when we truly bottom, right? So somewhere around $10 would be our bottom eventually. And after that, the company might get a breather into the $11-12 range. So that could be a good accumulation zone. But then again, one major factor, of course, is inflation. And the second major factor is the company's fundamentals, financials, and of course, the leadership that the company has. But to analyze the stock further, let's quickly jump into the 5-minute chart so we can see the live market as well. So if we look over here on 7th October, we can clearly see that we got a gap down. After that, we hit this range or this resistance around $12.3, right? We fell down, got supported and made a pin bar candle on the downside at $12, right? But $12 was a strong support, so it did not let us fall below, right? Then we got a reversal scenario over here. As you guys can see, let me explain this real quick to you. So let me zoom in on that. Zoom in, and as you guys can see, we got a pin bar candle on the lower side. Then we got an engulfing candle scenario over here, and then we got a pin bar on the upper side, which indicated all in all that the stock is going up. Of course, after that it went up, pretty small rally, but we did hit the resistance again around 12.3, and then we fell down, right? We kind of made a double top, and after that, of course, we got supported over here around the $12.15 range. The same range became a resistance over here, right? If we look at the market closing of this day on 7th October, we got two pin bar candles on the lower side. And of course, after that, the market got into a gap down, and that too a pretty strong one. Over here, we got a range bound market, or rather pretty squeezy market in my opinion. After that, we did try to recover from it, got another pin bar candle, bottomed around 11.25, and then got resisted at 11 point, what is this, $11.4 somewhat, right? After that, we saw signs of a reversal, but it did not work out. The market was pretty much range bound on this day, so we can say that the 11.4 to $11.2 range is pretty stable in my opinion. After that, if we look at the closing time of this market, we did not see much volatility either. So in my opinion, on 11th, we probably will be range bound in the same area, and we might even break down on the lower side if the entire market swings with it. As you guys can see, we already got somewhat of an engulfing candle over here, which indicated a short-term uptrend, and we got that. Of course, $11.4 was a resistance, so we got another pin bar candle over here, indecision over here, and of course, we're getting indecision over here as well. So in my opinion, this is kind of the bottom, or rather kind of the top that Ford can hit in these days. Of course, the market does not hit a specific top that quickly, but in my opinion, Ford is definitely not a stock that would go directly hands to hands with the market. So in my opinion, the Ford stock is not a buy at this moment, but then again, remember that this is definitely not financial advice. You should always do your own research before you trade, but if you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.